Did you know about the painting? Have you ever interacted with Shadman before? Like, what is your relation to that, and specifically that relationship between Shadman and Ava Tyson and you?
No, that's actually a good follow-up question.
What's funny is any of those creators, I'm just gonna say it, you could have just literally messaged me and I could have given you the facts. That was like a crazy few days. Like,
do you believe that you ran an illegal lottery?
1 second, sorry. It's not my...
Did you put them in that video or videos like that specifically to rig the outcome? Do you think that's acceptable, MrBeast?
I know.
Are you gonna sue Dogpack?
So MrBeast finally responded to all the allegations he's been getting shocked with over the past couple of months, and he promised that he will, and he did with Unpaville in an interview, and the video was 2.5 hours. When I tell you I had breakfast, lunch, dinner, and for context, I had to, on top of that, watch Soggy Cereal's video, which was another 1.5 hours on top of it. So that was 4 hours in total. I finished eating. I had snacks. I went to the gym. I napped 3 times during the video. I ordered food. I played with Megatron and Optimus Prime. I went to the movies in the cinema outside. I came back. The video was still not finished. I managed to get to like 80 minutes. After that, I got distracted by a very scary spider inside the, sorry, fuck's sake. There was a very scary spider on top of the wall on TV, and I got very much distracted. I went to get my shoe. While MrBeast was focusing on saving his reputation and answering all the allegations, I was focusing on shit-talking the spider on the wall. I did it. It disappeared. I don't know if I hit it or not. I went back. I was too afraid to go check if there's any spider dead or not, so I was standing from far away, zooming from my phone. Long story short, it was a very scary moment. And the day MrBeast decided to respond to this whole thing, I ended up having a very huge headache. I was at it since the morning. It is nighttime right now. But thanks to Francisco Montreal3691, an absolute legend who timestamped all these things, I'm gonna try and make this video as short as possible. We're just gonna go through the main important parts, the big allegations that can ruin his life, not the CGIs. Oh my god, he uses CGI to blow up a train. But it is worth mentioning some of the CGI stuff that he exaggerated things, as Rosanna and Dogpack went through it, where he photoshopped, I don't know what this is, and he exaggerated on the things that he didn't do, but he claimed that he did. But guess what? He never talked about it in the CGI section. And there are things that he didn't talk about or didn't address as well. One of them, the Discord logs with minors that him and Mr. Ava were having. He never talked about any of them. And I'm sure I missed a couple more allegations out of the 5,000 allegations that he got that he didn't respond in this video, but he did respond to majority of them, and that's what we're gonna go through in this video. But if you care about the other allegations, definitely go check out the full 2-hour 37-minute video. The first 6 minutes of the video, Jimmy was asked, why were you so silent about the whole allegations, which is very obvious because for legal reasons. And he said in the video that, you know, I was waiting for the law firm that I hired to investigate my company internally to give me an answer. For legal reasons, I could not answer, which I think is understandable, but some of the allegations didn't really require an internal, external investigations, which you're gonna know why, the reason later on. Like some of the allegations like are the games rigged? MrBeast definitely knows if it's rigged or not, or the Coco situation where, you know, underage adults, they get shut off at the back to make chocolate for MrBeast. But now this is a big one. If you remember Delaware situation where Dogpack made a video with a MrBeast contestant where, you know, the contestant said that they tortured me for $300,000. That is what, you know, MrBeast contestant was saying, and Dogpack was like, oh my god, that's so bad. And during the video, both of them said that the person, Delaware, who MrBeast hired, the guy with the mask in the videos, is a registered Chakalaka Bomb Bomb offender, and Jimmy actually responded to this.
Yes, I did hire him, but for the context around it, I hired him when I was 19, so I was a teenager, and this is kind of leans a little bit into what we were talking before. This is back when it was just a couple of my friends from high school, my mom. My videos were getting bigger. I needed more help, and so I walked in because I'm dumb. Like, I probably should have gone on some site and hired people who had production experience, but instead I walked into my local Best Buy and I just hired multiple people.
Now, if the 19-year-old Jimmy didn't know about background checks, I have a few questions for the Best Buy about their background checks. I mean, look, so far, fair. I'm sure the Delaware guy wouldn't have, put it in his resume or before getting hired, getting interviewed by Jimmy, which I doubt there was an interview. He'll be like, yeah, sure, I'll take that job. But just to let you know, I used to shakalaka boom boom before, not very legally.
Obviously, when I was a teenager, I didn't know what a background check was. And I just hired a couple people there that wanted to help me make videos. One of them was the person named Delaware. And no, I did not know he was a registered offender. There's a rumor that's gone around that said that he sat me and my mom down and told us. Obviously, I don't remember that happening. And when I read that tweet, the first thing I did was I called my mom and I was like, hey, this is like 7 or 8 years ago. Just put this in context. 7 or 8 years ago, not indicative of my company today, but I was like, did this happen? Because someone's claiming this happened. My mom said, I would have literally quit or honestly probably shut the business down before I ever let my teenage son hire a registered sex offender knowingly, which I have a very protective mom. Just an unfortunate thing that happened. I take accountability. Yes, if I could go back in time, I would tell teenage me, hey, you're supposed to do background checks. 19-year-old me, he stared at retention charts all day. He obsessed over YouTube videos. He didn't know anything about running a business.
Now, there is evidence for this, as Delaware was, in fact, working at Best Buys back like 7-8 years ago. And MrBeast, when he was 19 years old, he was building his company up. He needed more people. He didn't know where to get them. As a 19-year-old, he went to the Best Buy local store, hired them, didn't know how to do background checks. That's fine. That is totally understandable. But Dogpack was saying that he knew all along where, they were sitting together. He told Jimmy and his mom, and, they were like, oh, it's fine. It's your past. Let's continue. Now, Jimmy over here is saying that he never told us that he was an offender, even though, he got released back in 2021. He's not working for Beast anymore. We don't know if, when he found out, he fired him right ahead and then try to keep it low-key so no one will find out about it. And now they did, and this is his side of the story. But there's absolutely no evidence backing up from both sides, Dogpack and Jimmy. Jimmy's saying, I didn't know. Dogpack is saying he knew. What are you going to do? Bring Delaware in the situation? So did you tell it or not? It's not going to happen. So this is just going to be your point of view on this and your opinion on, which side you want to take on. Now, jumping to the next section, the employee letter email that got leaked where Jimmy, one of the policies was like, the no does not mean no policy, where in the company you never take no for an answer. You always work around no matter what it costs you.
When we started hiring more people, I wrote this little, I almost like advice book just for a lot of employees because I wasn't able to talk with people as much as I was early on. And one part of it that people, when this thing got leaked, and I wrote it with some other people in my company, it wasn't just me, but when this got leaked, there's a section that said no does not mean no, and then they just like cropped that out and they're like, look, this is proof Jimmy's immoral and evil, when obviously, like you were saying, if you read the context below, it makes sense. The gist of why we had a section that said no does not mean no is because we do, I don't know if anyone's ever seen our videos, crazy things that have never been done before, right? No one's ever, on YouTube at least, buried themselves alive for 7 days. No one like tries to dangle an obstacle course from cranes. And it's like, the problem I kept running into early on when I was hiring people is I'd be like, hey, I want to do this. And then they would go call someone. So like, let's say the obstacle course in the sky where we had like this obstacle courses that Mac did, held up by these cranes, weighed like 100,000 pounds or whatever. Like they would call crane companies and they'd be like, no. And then they'd be like, okay, hang up. And they'd come to me and they'd go, Jimmy, they said, no, we can't do it. The video's not possible. And it's like, okay, well, of course they're going to say no because everything we do has never been done before. But like, ask them why. And like, obviously, if they don't be rude, but if they say no, just try to understand why, right? And a lot of times you'll have an instance where like, well, we can't get all the cranes at one time because we're renting them out. And it's like, okay, perfect. We respect that. But can I offer something before you actually hard say no? What if we went to the 2 or 3 other clients that day that were renting the cranes, we paid them 5 times the amount of money they paid to rent those cranes to just, rent them a week later. And let's just see. And then the company would usually be like, oh, you would do that? It's like, yeah, like we want to work with you to find a solution to make your problem our problem and solve it. And then like, then a hard no will 50% of the time turn into, oh, well, yeah, actually we can do it if you're willing to spend a little extra money or whatever. So that was me trying to educate my employees on that. And somehow, well, I don't know. I'm not even going to say somehow. I know how. I mean, people who didn't care about the truth and just, wanted to spread disinformation and manipulate and lie to millions.
Now let's actually read the content. This is where he said, when you're dealing with people outside MrBeast production, never take no at a face value. If you call up a store to buy certain things for the video, and the person says, no, you can't film here, This is what throws it all out of context. This is no one's fault but Jimmy's. He did not explain it well. Just read it again. So when the store says, no, you cannot film here, that literally doesn't mean shit, according to Jimmy. Talk to other employees, see if there are any fans or any kids over there. Talk to their bosses and boss. Try every way to convince them, and like Jimmy said in the video, eventually they're going to say yes. We talked about this a couple of months ago, and I said that Jimmy is an absolute shitty motivational talker. A players, C players, G players. But it is very obvious when you read it, when they say, no, you cannot film here. Fuck that. It doesn't mean shit. You can film whatever you want. This is what it seems like. And yes, when you read the rest of the message, it sounds like what MrBeast exactly said, that, you know, never take no for an answer, always go to a different one, or offer more money because what we do is never been done before, and they're not going to offer us the amount of things that we want. 1,000 condoms? Sorry, we cannot do it. No problem. Pay them 5 times or go, to 5 different shops and buy 5,000 from each. Now, I'm not going to talk about the CGI part where they talked about where he asked, is your video CGI? I don't really give a shit. I'll be completely honest with the amount of things that he does. Like a volcano blows up behind you. I don't care if it's CGI or not. It makes it more intense, fine. What I care is, are the games rigged or not? Which takes us to the next part. The 100 girls versus 100 boys video, where you probably forgot. It's okay, I forgot too. I had to go and take a recap after it's been like, what, 3,000 allegations towards them. So basically in the 100 boys 100 girls competition, was Dogpack said that a lot of the people who were competing were MrBeast employees, and this makes the whole games rigged. This is what MrBeast had to say.
Did you put them in that video or videos like that specifically to rig the outcome
of the challenge?
The challenge? And if so, do you think that's acceptable, MrBeast?
I know. That one was a big one. Videos, yes. Sagi's video, he talked about this and uncovered it. I'm surprised more people didn't. Like, my girlfriend, after that video, literally went on a podcast and described this. So it's not even like this was hidden information. This has been out there.
You were in the video 100 girls versus 100 boys for $500,000.
Yes. On the day, everybody had to go for COVID tests, and a lot of people came, got their COVID tests, and they tested positive. And the girls somehow ended up with way too little contestants. So I got a call randomly from the studio, and they're like, we need a female. I'm like, well, I am a female. I guess I could do this 100-hour challenge.
Now, I'm stuck with a tough decision because we have all these people who just took off work for a week and took even more days off work to film this video. You know, a couple people on each side of the 100 girls, 100 boys tested positive for COVID. I can't go grab random people off the street because they haven't quarantined, right? And back then, I think COVID tests are better now, but back then, it took like 2 days for the COVID test to be able to pick up whether or not you had COVID, something like that. Not a doctor. This isn't Joe Rogan. I obviously, bro, no one knows that though, right? I could have just gone and grabbed random people off the street and it would have been fine. But I was trying to like be protective of the contestants. So my employees were routinely quarantining back then because, in the studio and things like that, we didn't want an outbreak. So I just went to the employees who weren't working on the 100 girls versus 100 boys video and was like, hey, I don't want to cancel this video. Who wants to be in it? And so a couple of them volunteered, filled in the empty gaps. My girlfriend quarantined with me, so I threw her in there.
Fair. It was COVID time. He said that, they had to do a test, and they did it. It came out positive. People were left out, so we had to fill it in with my employees. Now, this is just a very unprofessional thing from their side to do. It kind of makes me question it, the whole thing. Like, if I was instead of Oompa Will, I would have said that, why didn't you guys do the test from way before? Or ask them to do the test themselves and bring proof, bring evidence in a professional way. You do it in advance. It's a very simple thing. I'm sure you went through it through COVID too. I had to give my test a week in advance before a part-time job I was doing before events and activations. I had to give them 1 week in advance my test results before starting the job. But one thing he didn't talk about was you remember that blonde guy who keeps on winning $800,000, $500,000, who magically just appears in every MrBeast video and he has the biggest reaction, he wins the best prizes? I haven't heard of him, MrBeast replying to that. But hey, let's just move on. Now here he gets confronted about the alleged illegal lottery that he was running.
Do you believe that you ran an illegal lottery? Did you believe at the time? What was your mindset? Did you check with the FCC? Was there any compliance, any steps taken to prevent this? What is your just perspective on that?
Yes. So I don't think we did. I have people looking into it and like trying to pull the footage and figure it out. You know, he disproved the 2, which I mean, those were crazy. I don't want to just like speculate. I have a team looking into it. I don't think we did though. But regardless, just to be truthful, if people want a refund or think for whatever reason like we did something wrong, like I'll send you a link that you can just put in the description where they can get a refund.
Now, I can't quite put my head around which part of this illegal thing that he was talking about. Honestly, with the amount of allegations, I forgot how many lotteries or gamblings or giveaways or merch situations that he was talking about. I think it is the Lambo situation. So with every festival that you buy, you had the chance to win, play with this lottery thing, and apparently a lot of people won and they never got a Lambo, and it just says if you want a refund, I'll just give you a refund. I think that's just the best way to just save face. Now, I think the biggest question in the whole video is at the 1 hour and 1 minute mark, when I caught this when I was watching and smoking my shisha and I gasped. This was 5 minutes before the spider attack. Are you going to sue Dogpack?
Are you going to sue Dogpack?
I'm going to save you 3 minutes of yapping time. Yes, he is going to sue it, but he said, I don't want to, but I have to because of all this, you know, the damage that it did to my name and, you know, the sponsors. I've lost investors. I've lost millions and millions of dollars because of Dogpack. And, you know, most of them are misinformation. So, yes, I am going to sue him so I can get all my investors and all people back. Because if I don't sue him, they're going to be like, I knew it. You were guilty. That's why you're not suing him, because you cannot win the case. Dogpack, it was nice knowing you. GG, well played. Bro's life is ruined. Now look, when you go against someone as big as MrBeast, you have to think it all through. This is the route I'm going. And end of the day, he knew that he was getting shakalaka boom boom by MrBeast. Either way, if he was right, he was wrong. Just like CoffeeZilla, he got sued by Logan Paul. He was gonna get sued either way. Now, Dogpack haven't made any response towards it. I hope he makes a response towards the, you know, the debunking. That's what they're calling it, debunking of the Dogpack. Dogpack is absolutely canceled. This is what the internet is saying right now. Where I think Dogpack needs to respond to this whole thing. After making those claims, getting attacked back, he needs to counter attack, and we need to see what is going on. MrBeast said this. What are you gonna say about it? I know you're probably mind fucked right now. I'm confused about the whole thing too, but just stay with me. Dogpack come forward and say, you rigged your games. MrBeast said it was Corona. I didn't have anyone else because they tested positive. What is Dogpack going to say against his clips? I'm sure some of the things Dogpack is going to get debunked, but I feel like there are things Dogpack can fight back, and I hope he fights back, or he just gets on his knees and give MrBeast a double twisty hand. Maybe MrBeast will forgive him, which I doubt. But overall, it is a GG well played for Dogpack. Now, this is where I wish CoffeeZilla was here.
There was a comprehensive report published that painted a negative light on crypto dealings allegedly associated with you. To what extent were you involved in these crypto transactions, and how do you respond to CoffeeZilla's video on you detailing these allegations? I thought he gave you a benefit of the doubt in that video.
Yeah, Coffee's video and the report. Well, so I'll start off with the report. I mean, most people probably haven't even read it, but that's what kind of spawned that whole thing was this. Did you see it? Like that? Yeah, so the gist of this crypto report that was... 1 second, sorry. It's not my... The gist of this report was Jimmy is too stupid to like make this kind of money, therefore it must be insider trading. This is his wallet. Clearly there was insider trading because he never would have been able to make this kind of money. When in reality, which is what I told Coffee in that statement we gave him, it was managed by a fund. So I wasn't the one managing the wallet. I've never had access to that wallet. I've never done the buying and selling on that wallet. There's a actual professional who's written books on crypto and lived and breathes crypto every second of the day managing it. So most of the allegations there are just answered by I am too stupid to do that. That's why a fund was managing it. You know what I mean?
So this was an answer to CoffeeZilla's video where he made 9 days ago investigating MrBeast about the money that he makes from crypto. The answer he gave was, I don't manage it. People manage it for me, but I don't think that's important. The real question wasn't asked when MrBeast was there did you promote these to your fans? Because that's what's important. Luckily, Umpaville realized and called MrBeast later on when he was on his way back, and this is what MrBeast had to say.
On May 12, 2021, you, MrBeast, tweeted in response to it was a Elio Trades tweet. There's a gym sitting there on the market at an eye-watering price set to explode during Defy Summer 2.0. And then you responded by saying super ? With a crazy emoji.
Yep.
So why did you not disclose that you had a vested interest in the coin that you were tweeting about? Super ? Yeah, we'll start there.
Well, I replied to a tweet, so I did tweet it out, and I think a lot of people, that are just getting second hands of the story think I literally tweeted out, "Go buy super, go buy super." Yeah, the fund did hold some super, and I just saw that was the owner of super, the guy who made the coin, and I just went scrolling through Twitter, just replied super to his tweet. I did not tell people to buy super or anything. I just replied super. And I know the next thing where people are going to go, but this was a planned, coordinated thing. It wasn't. It's not like I'm on the phone with the...
Just a classic response to anyone who promoted crypto and, the whole thing turned out to be a scam. I didn't tell you to buy a crypto, but, the coin, you bought it yourself. All I did was reply. Now, look, I don't care what Jimmy does with his investments. It's his money. He can do whatever he wants. He pays people to invest for him. But when it comes to promoting it to your audience, when you want to promote a coin, you have to be very careful, especially back in 2021 where it was booming. Jimmy, I'm sure you're well aware of your influence that you have online with how many followers he has on Twitter. Each tweet that he makes, he's still every creator's fund from all Twitter accounts, and Elon Musk has to add more money to the accounts because of the amount of views he's getting. Sure, when it comes to, oh, I shitted myself, tweet that. Oh, I just saw my cats chuck like a boom on each other. Sure, tweet that too. But when it comes to talking about things like as sensitive as crypto or promoting any type of product that people are going to be investing their money, I'm sure you're not an idiot when it comes to that. Super ? By just saying anything, even if you put poop, people would have been like, oh, why is he replying to the tweet on top? So is MrBeast investing in this? Should I invest in this? It's the influence that he has. I don't know. It just sounds like he's just covering for himself. Now, the next big allegation we're going to talk about is one of the biggest ones, the chocolate situation, where who was the ones making it? Was it professional hardworking adults or professional underage adults?
People noticed that on the Feastables website, it originally said that the chocolate was child labor and slave labor free. A lot of people probably don't know that the production of chocolate is, it's difficult for it to be ethical, especially at scale. And it no longer says that on the Feastables website, and people have interpreted this to mean that your chocolate is no longer ethically sourced, and it implies that it is using child labor or slave labor. Yep. How would you respond to that?
Yeah, that one was a crazy one when I woke up and saw those videos claiming I used slave labor. What's funny is any of those creators, I'm just going to say it, you could have just literally messaged me and I could have given you the facts, but, they didn't. And so that was like a crazy few days. Like, yes, there's a lot of unethical stuff in the sourcing of cocoa because big chocolate just wants to buy cocoa as cheap as possible. Majority of the world's cocoa comes from, again, I'm going to really lay this out. I have lived and breathed this. I've visited the farms. I personally put over 1,000 hours of my own time into this. Majority of the world's cocoa comes from West Africa. Feastables early on, we sourced from Peru, which Peru doesn't have ethical problems. But after we started getting bigger, all roads lead to you have to source from West Africa because that's just where most of the world's cocoa is grown. And that's where things are the worst and the most unethical. So when we were switching our supply chain to West Africa as we were getting bigger, the company that is the gold standard that has been living and breathing this for the last 15 years is Tony's Open Chain, or Tony's Chocolonely. Have you heard of them? And they've done all the research. They live and breathe it, like on how to eliminate child labor, how to, best support the farmers, how to everything. We actually formed a joint partnership with where we sourced through Tony's Open Chain with Feastables and Tony's Open Chain when we were moving over there. And this has been a thing well before the controversy. 100% of Feastables cocoa is fair trade certified, which is expensive. It's basically the most expensive certification you can have on it, which for most chocolate companies would be enough. You'd get your cocoa fair trade certified, and then do you even know what fair trade certified means? Mm-hmm. Okay, do you think your viewers know? No. Not only are 100% of Feastables beans fair trade certified, but 100% of them, we also pay a living income reference price. One of the main drivers of child labor in cocoa is poverty. Like they don't make enough money. One of the ways you can eliminate child labor is you have to pay a living income. So 100% of our beans would pay a living income reference price. So if a farmer theoretically sold us a metric ton of cocoa for, I'll make up a number, $800, and the living income reference price is $1,000, we'll go, hey, we actually want to pay you $1,000 for that, a $200 premium on top of it to make sure you make enough money to live off of.
Now, Jimmy, why didn't you say that at the beginning once the allegation came out? Honestly, I feel like the law firm did a lot of damage on him, but not by not allowing him to answer to the public. When this allegation, especially this one, came out, he should have talked it in everyone's face and be like, yo, I actually pay more. You call me, I am not stingy. He said he posted an Instagram story. I don't think that is enough. He should have also answered why was, why was the, child labor free that was mentioned in the website, why was it removed? Let me show you a clip from 2 months ago when the allegation came out.
When Feastables first launched in January of 2022, if you went into their FAQ, their frequently asked questions section, they proudly displayed that they were child labor free and slave labor free. As a matter of fact, in April of 2023, they doubled down and they added to their list of main menu options this option that said we're slave free. And if you clicked it, it had an entire dedicated page talking about how they were free of slave labor and child labor. But just a few months later, in October of 2023, that main page item that said we're slave free, that was removed.
Mr. Jimmy, I'd like for you to answer this one, please. Thank you. So like we discussed 2 months ago, MrBeast said that, once he was in Peru, once he, got big, he wanted to expand his company. He had to go to West Africa because that's where the majority of the shit is. Every country is known for certain things. You want illegal sugar, you have to go to Colombia to get it and produce it. You want chocolate, you have to go to West Africa. You want saffron, you have to go to Iran. You want oil, come to Middle East. So he said that he knew that he had to go there and he worked with people to make sure that there's no haram things happening over there. And in the last sentence, he said that the people that he, wanted to hire to work for, he actually paid them more. He paid for their expenses as well. So they don't have to hire, people how can I'm trying to get this video monetized as possible, but he's going to get people who will not get shataq on their back to work and make chocolate, basically. I think that's a fair answer if it is being monitored. How do you know these people are not putting the money in their pocket and be like, oh yes, MrBeast, they are so happy, smile, smile, shataq. If they're being monitored, fine. And I do want to talk about another thing as well, which I was gonna wait till later on, but I want to talk about it now. Through all the allegations, I was talking about other people accusing MrBeast of the allegations. I just want to make that clear before you jump in. Kush, you were wrong the whole time. Shut up. It was A accusing B, and I was in the middle. I was saying, oh, A coming in with a punch. Oh, I was just sharing my opinion and, waiting for once A makes a attack and accusation for B to respond to the accusation, and this is MrBeast. And let's wait for MrBeast to have a response and see what he is going to respond to all the allegations. But overall, we still have to wait for MrBeast's response. I really, really look forward to it, even though I'm tired of this allegation. It still fucking pumps me up, and I want to see how he's going to respond to this. Basically telling you what things are going and making a few jokes in the middle and just sharing you the whole news. Now, the second thing I wanted to talk about is the titles and my thumbnails. Over, done, MrBeast, finish, oh my god, image, ruined. God knows how much I want to stop this over dramatic titles and thumbnails, but unfortunately, you can't. There's so many YouTube creators that you have to make it as dramatic as possible. You don't have to lie, but you have to make it dramatic. So, people will click on it and give a chance to watch you and, listen to you. So many of you, I'm pretty sure if I didn't make it as dramatic, you would have never known my face. You would have never even, heard my voice or watched me. So you have to make these things. And I promise you, once the community grows out, I'm going to stop this whole, over dramatic shit. I'm just going to put a nice title, clean title, and we're gonna go from there. Now, the next allegation is one of the biggest ones, the Shadman poster. Was Jimmy really aware of Mr. Ava's disgusting behavior or not?
Did you know about the painting in, did you know about that? Have you ever interacted with Shadman before? Like, what is your relation to that, and specifically that relationship between Shadman and Ava Tyson and you?
Yeah, no, that's actually a good follow-up question. So this is, what, it was like, I don't remember 7, 8 years ago. Back then, I used to have like a bunch of anime posters up on the wall. I'm just like set a foundation for context. We used to have a bunch of anime posters and things like that on our wall in the house. And one day Ava put up this poster that was like an animated character holding a fidget spinner and a gun. Admittedly, it was a weird image. I didn't know who made it. You know, I just kind of assumed it was a meme. I obviously did not know who Shadman was. I've never spoken with Shadman. I did not buy the poster or commission it or anything. And yeah, I mean, to be honest, I didn't really think too much of it because we just had like a lot of anime posters and things up, and it was an animated character that was clothed, obviously. And yeah, knowing what I know about Shadman now, it was a very weird thing to buy. I'm not really sure why she bought it, to be frank. And yeah, I mean, I wish I could give more details. I mean, this was so long ago. Obviously, I don't know the like exact thoughts.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I was a kid. I should have known. I should have asked questions, but I genuinely didn't know. I don't know what was Ava thinking. It's just like that. And what is Umpaville doing? Yeah, okay. To be fair, this one is fair. I don't know what to expect, to be honest. With this whole, questioning, I'm sure there's a lot of questions with the answers that he was giving that you can counter it with. Ask some interesting questions, make him sweat a little bit. Is he telling the truth? Now, I'm sure Umpaville did the best that he could. In the beginning of the video, he said that, he's not, he's just a commentary channel. He's not a professional journalist or, an investigator. So, a lot of people had a lot of big expectation. I think it could have been better, but he did the best that he could. In people's heads, he should have, put people in people's head. Umpaville should have put electric car battery on MrBeast's nipples. Are you telling the truth? Make him sweat for it or not. They were just having a conversation. It didn't feel like an interview, but again, Umpaville did the best that he could. It is a possibility as well that Jimmy didn't actually know because he was a kid, he was into anime. Now, after watching him answer to all the big allegations, I'm just not satisfied enough. I feel like there needs to be a round to a rematch on the MrBeast interview. This just puts him in a neutral position and he's going to be forgiven and just move on. And this is just going to be a past that no one's ever going to talk about. We don't know if there's going to be a round 2. I really hope there is. Dog Pack, I'm very curious what he's going to do. Is he going to cave? Is he going to go back to his cave and ask for forgiveness from Jimmy? Or is he going to actually fight back? I don't think that will be wise, but you never know what's going to happen in the future. Anyways, as usual, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like it, subscription it. If you're new here, take it easy. I'll see you at the next one.